Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's a Thursday, and the date is August 6th of 2015, and my name is Sandra Han Utsaha. Welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has expressed satisfaction with the rising water levels in major dams following his visit to Nakhon Nayok province. As part of his official visit to Nakhon Nayok, Prime Minister Prayut led relevant officials in an aerial survey of waterways and reservoirs within the province and its vicinity. He first observed the level of water at Khun Dan Prakan Chon Dam in Mueang district of Nakhon Nayok before proceeding to Pasak Cholasit Dam, located on the border of Lopburi and Saratburi provinces, as well as the Ayutthaya Pathum Thani section of the Chao Phraya River. The Premier revealed that his stopover in Lopburi and Saratburi was unplanned and was made spontaneously out of concern over the well-being of drought-affected residents. He said he needed to witness the water situation as it truly was, adding that he was most worried about the people in the Pasak and Chao Phraya River basins. However, Prime Minister Prayut said he was glad and relieved to hear from the provincial governors that the amount of water flowing into the dams has increased significantly due to continuous downpours. He nonetheless insisted that more water will need to be supplied constantly to the Central Plains to help the farmers. The Prime Minister has turned down claims that the National Reform Council's rejection of the draft charter will lead to the extension of his government's term in office. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha said that rumors of the NRC's likelihood to vote down the draft constitution remain speculation, as he stated that all reform councillors are mature and entitled to their own ideas. Therefore, if the draft charter is rejected, the decision belongs to each individual and will have nothing to do with the extension of the present administration's term in office, which has been noted as a way to complete all reform efforts. General Prayut affirmed that he has never made any decision which will make him the only person to pursue the reform process. He added that the reform efforts need to be divided into phases, and there are certainly a lot of qualified persons to implement the process. The Prime Minister stated that he will leave the post when the time is right. The National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, on August 25th will hold a dinner talk to discuss the legislature's work in the past year in hopes of raising the public's awareness of the NLA's work. NLA Whip Dr. J. Siratharanon stated that the dinner event will be held at the Queen Sirikit Convention Center to educate the public and create confidence within the private sector. The dinner will also feature a keynote address by Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha. The NLA will in addition hold a press conference on September 9th at Parliament House to report on various laws that have been passed this past year. On September 18th to 20th, the NLA will then hold a seminar in Pattaya on the NLA's future work. The National Reform Council, or NRC, has approved of the reform agenda to empower local communities, help them achieve self-sufficiency, and support career planning. The report was delivered by the NRC Committee on Reform Matters pertaining to society, communities, children, adolescents, women, the elderly, the disabled, and the underprivileged. The NRC also approved of the committee's proposed legislation for social welfare. The report sought to address the country's social and economic injustice by empowering communities and encouraging public participation in community development. The Minister of Public Health has declared success in the effort to eliminate mother-to-child transmission of HIV, saying the infection rate has dropped to only 2.1%. Public Health Minister Dr. Ratchata Nawin, accompanied by the Directors General of the Departments of Health and Disease Control, held a press conference to announce Thailand's achievement in becoming one of the first countries to end the transmission of HIV from mother to child. As of 2014, the minister said the rate of transmission has been reduced to merely 2.1% from previous records of 20 to 45%. With the latest figure, Thailand is moving closer to the goal set by the World Health Organization, or WHO, to cut the rate to 2% within the year 2017. Dr. Ratchata revealed that the government is in the process of proposing Thailand for official validation by the WHO as a country that has successfully eliminated mother-to-child transmission of HIV. The evaluation process is expected to be finished by the end of the year. The minister indicated that such an achievement is a result of state medical centers' adoption of preventive measures as well as promotion of early antenatal care, counseling, HIV testing, and prescription of antiretroviral drugs. The Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives is holding an exhibition to showcase His Majesty the King's water conservation initiatives. Agriculture Minister Pitipong Phungbun Ayutthaya said His Majesty throughout his life has placed great emphasis on improving the country's water management and conservation methods and has passed on his royal project's innovations to local communities. This has resulted in effective water management for agriculture and relief for drought-affected regions in the country. The exhibition features an education center on His Majesty's work pertaining to water management and conservation, an academic forum, a display of various crafts, and an education center for agricultural practices. The exhibition also features booths selling products from local farmers. The exhibition is being held at the Royal Park Ratchapruk in Chiang Mai Province until August 15th. The Land Development Department has signed a collaboration agreement with the National Science and Technology Development Agency, or NSTDA, in order to supply information crucial to the success of the What to Grow project for farmers. Apichat Jongsakun, Director General of the Land Development Department, revealed on Wednesday that under the collaboration, his department will provide the NSTDA with land use maps, soil series maps, agricultural zoning maps, and digital orthophotographs. Tawisak Ka Anantakun, Director of the NSTDA, explained that his agency will utilize the data in the maps to carry out the What to Grow project, which will provide farmers with data that would allow for improved efficiency in farmland utilization. He said that the project is similar to agricultural zoning in principle. However, the depth of data available will be much greater. Detailed soil layer and soil quality data will also be available. According to Mr. Tawisak, the What to Grow project will be implemented for 5 years. The Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, is inviting the general public to take part in its waste management logo design competition. BMA Permanent Secretary Sanya Chinimit, who presided over the contest's opening ceremony, said the activity is part of the campaign aimed at raising awareness of trash problems in the capital city and seeking public participation in waste management. Statistics by the BMA Department of Environment revealed that the BMA had to deal with 9.6 million tons of garbage per day in 2014, meaning that each Bangkokian generated 1.23 kilograms of garbage per day. Interested persons can submit their work pieces from now until September 4th at the Academic Service Center of Srinakarinwiro University, or send them to P.O. Box 170, Jarakebua, between September 14th and 16th. Results of the competition will be announced on September 18th. The award ceremony will take place on September 24th. For more information, please visit worldwideweb.bkkwastemanagement.com. The Monetary Policy Committee, or MPC, has resolved to keep the policy interest rate unchanged at 1.5% in a bid to facilitate economic recovery. Following the latest MPC meeting, Mr. Meiti Supaphong, Assistant Governor of the Bank of Thailand's Monetary Policy Group, made known that the committee members discussed several issues concerning the country's monetary policy, one of which was the impact of a further reduction of the interest rate on the Thai baht value. In the end, a unanimous vote was cast by the 7 committee members to retain the 1.5% interest rate effective immediately. Mr. Meiti said the committee agreed that the rate, which is already lenient, should be kept stable as the current monetary policy and exchange rate are considered conducive to the revival of the Thai economy. The assistant governor pointed out that the economy was expanding in a gradual manner in the second quarter and will likely continue on the same trend for the rest of the year. Despite a rebound in consumption and private investment, he said the steady contraction in exports could bring about a GDP growth of less than 3%. The sluggish Chinese economy and the drought crisis are also expected to remain major negative factors. On the other hand, the higher-than-expected growth in tourism and the quick disbursement of state budgets will be the main economic drivers. The market for automobile leasing is expected to contract by 12 to 13% this year, according to Kasikorn Leasing Company Limited. Surat Leelad Wiwat, Managing Director of Kasikorn Leasing, a wholly owned subsidiary of Kasikorn Bank Public Limited Company, disclosed on Wednesday he was expecting a total of 780,000 new cars to be sold in 2015. This figure would represent a shortfall of 120,000 vehicles when compared with 2014 sales. Kasikorn Leasing is therefore shifting its emphasis toward dealers of automobiles for business use and the truck market. Special emphasis is being placed on the market for trucks used to transport cargo between countries in the Mekong region. Mr. Surat indicated that the aim was to achieve a whole-year lending growth of 1.5%. Mr. Surat added that the impending adjustment of the excise rate on larger-engined cars is expected to result in a rise in sales of the said cars during the final 3 months of the year, whereas would-be buyers of small cars of eco-cars are expected to make their purchase at the beginning of next year. And that's the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a quick break now, but first let's have a look at the exchange rates and the commodity prices.
To maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 8th core value: maintaining discipline and respectfulness of the law and the elderly.
How could you do that to me? Stop it!
Huh?
Don't you get it? I don't need you anymore. Enough! We're through. There's someone else in my life.
Say no to the past. Bring your own bag. Say no to plastic.
Swadee krab, this is Thailand at large.
The show which is about to take you to the new experiences with the exciting stories.
With charming fascination. With a touch of Thainess.
Join us on NBT World.
Explore with us and you'll know and love Thailand even more than before.
Multiple perspectives, insightful commentary on Thailand with The Insider every Sunday morning at 10:30 on NBT and NBT World.
Welcome back to Newsline. The newly appointed Consul General of Cambodia to Sisaket has met with the provincial governor for an official introduction. Sisaket Governor Yuthana Wiriyakiti and his deputy Surya Amonrod Warawut and other senior City Hall officers on Wednesday officially welcomed Mr. Bun Sukwibon, who was recently appointed as the Consul General to the province. Mr. Bun Sukwibon made a courtesy visit to the Sisaket City Hall to introduce himself to the province's authorities and to discuss the strengthening of relations of the two neighbors. The Cambodian Consul General said that he is hoping that Thai-Cambodian border trade will flourish as both nations, alongside other regional countries, are entering the ASEAN Economic Community later this year. He also called on all who are involved to respect all international laws while pledging to work hard to elevate the two countries' relations in all aspects, from trade to tourism. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi and New Zealand's Foreign Minister Murray Macaulay met Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN foreign ministers, on Wednesday during two ministerial meetings in Kuala Lumpur. Wang and Macaulay are both in Malaysia, which is hosting this year's annual ASEAN meeting, for talks with the 10-member ASEAN, where tensions in the South China Sea have taken center stage. The two leaders joined ASEAN delegates for a photo opportunity at the start of their respective meetings before sitting down for talks. Earlier on Wednesday, China and the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, agreed to speed up consultations on a code of conduct for the South China Sea. China claims most of the South China Sea, through which $5 trillion in shipborne trade passes every year. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Brunei have overlapping claims. Democracy icon Aung San Suu Kyi visited flood-hit areas in Bago region while help is pouring in from the international community after the country pledged for aid. Suu Kyi visited the flood victims by boat in an affected area 72 kilometers northeast of Yangon, where houses were submerged under floodwater. She handed out aid to people affected by the flood and spoke with people living in shelters. The United States will announce an aid package for Myanmar to help the Southeast Asian country provide relief to the hundreds of thousands of people affected by floods, according to Secretary of State John Kerry. Speaking in Kuala Lumpur, Kerry said that the U.S. Embassy in Yangon was working closely with Myanmar officials to determine the priorities for the aid. A gunman also wielding an axe opened fire at a Nashville area theater showing of the movie Mad Max Fury Road and was shot dead by police after slightly injuring at least one person on Wednesday, police and fire officials said. More than a dozen emergency vehicles were on the scene at the Carmichael Hickory 8 movie complex in Antioch, where one man suffered minor injuries from the axe, and that man and two women were treated for exposure to pepper spray, possibly from the gunman, officials said. He said the gunman, a 51-year-old man, had a backpack or some other type of bag on him, and authorities were going through it to make sure that it did not pose a threat. Brian Haas of the Nashville Fire Department said none of the injuries, including the axe wound, appeared to be serious, and none of the victims were transported to area hospitals. It appeared to be nothing but a bad bruise, he told reporters, referring to the person struck by the axe. The U.S. Coast Guard helped 25 baby sea turtles return to their natural habitat on Tuesday, driving them some 40 miles or 64 kilometers off the coast of Cape Canaveral in Florida and dropping them into the water. Video of the event, carried out in partnership with the Brevard Zoo, showed one woman holding two of the tiny turtles between her fingers. Both loggerhead and green sea turtles were part of the mix. They had originally been found in nests along the shoreline, unable to crawl back into the ocean, according to local media. The zoo then reportedly took the baby turtles into their care, hoping to help them avoid predators. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Newsline. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. Do follow us on Facebook by simply typing in NNT, and have a look at our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're saying goodbye today with a lost whale being guided out to open waters in Buenos Aires of Argentina. Have a great day. I'm Sandra Hanut Sahat for Newsline. Sawadee ka.